Let me take you back to the year 2006. I was hanging out with my Nino, my uncle basically, and my two cousins Eric and Ricky. Ricky received the game Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus for the PS2 from his dad, my uncle, of course. This was actually my introduction to the series, despite the fact it was 2006 and the trilogy had ended by 2005. I didn't know that, and neither did my cousins. Oddly enough, they were the same cousins that introduced me to Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Dexter, the trio of mascots for the PS2, at least for me. Anyways, it's the year 2023, and I want to give my shot or take on a review of some sort, so I'm going with Sly 1. With that being said, let's dive into the PS2 classic. We start with Sly traversing the roofs of Paris to break into police HQ, in which he steals his case file. Shortly leaving the police HQ, a policewoman known as Carmelita Montoya Fox, whose design was based off the beautiful Salma Hayek, confronts him as he tries to leave. They have some history and the chase begins. Sly gets away while Carmelita shakes her fist in anger. We learn that Sly comes from a long line of raccoon thieves. The family book known as the Thievius Raccoonus is enriched with knowledge on how to be a master thief from over the years. The night Sly was going to inherit the book, 5 strangers, known as the Fiendish Five, came and took out his dad and got the book. They each took a number of pages from the book. Sly was then dropped off at an orphanage where he met Bentley, the brains, and Murray, the driver/burden. Years have passed, and now Sly looks to retrieve the missing pages from the Fiendish Five with the help of his gang. The first stop is Sir Raleigh in Wales. Raleigh was from a rich life, but got bored of it, then took up piracy. And he liked it, so he stuck with it. He's the chief machinist for the Fiendish Five. Sly and crew find that Raleigh has been using a weather machine to cause bad weather, to cause wrecks in the sea. Seeing that the machine where he might be, Sly makes his way to confront him. Upon confronting Raleigh and fighting, Raleigh leaves mention to Mugshot, that is in Mesa City, before passing out. Sly then recovers Raleigh's section that covers Ryoichi Cooper's ninja spiral jump. Sly gets out of the hangout as Carmelita arrests Raleigh. With Raleigh arrested and his plan stopped, the weather goes back to normal. Second stop is Mugshot of Mesa City, the run of the litter, as everyone would laugh at him. He saw comfort from the movies, and having seen some gangster movies, he worked out over the years so no one else would push him again. To no surprise, he's the ruthless muscle of the Fiendish Five. When arriving to Mesa City, it looked deserted. Turns out Mugshot and his crew scared everyone out of town, despite his operation circling around a casino. He's tough, not smart. After getting into Mugshot's hangout and finding where he is, Sly gets his way into Mugshot's penthouse on top of his casino. After some banter, Sly and Mugshot fight, with Sly coming out on top. Mugshot, after being defeated, mentions Miss Ruby being in Haiti. Sly recovers Mugshot's section that covers Tennessee Kid Cooper's rope walk and rail slide. Sly has trouble getting out of Mesa City, but gets out. Meanwhile, Carmelita arrests Mugshot, and sometime later, Mesa City has its citizens return and go back to normal. Third stop is Miss Ruby of Haiti. She was born in a family of mystics, and other kids found her weird/scary. She taught herself to summon the dead, since others didn't want to be her friend. When she got older, she used her skills for crime, and was brought onto the Fiendish Five as chief mystic. She went off-grid in the Haiti Fours later on. With Miss Ruby being a mystic, spirits, ghosts, and such aren't far away in her hideout. When Sly gets into the hideout, Bentley picks up huge waves of paranormal in the giant gator head in the air. Sly does his thing and gets to Miss Ruby. After beating Miss Ruby's high score in VDR, She admits defeat and mentions the panicking in China. Sly recovers Miss Ruby's section that covers Sly didn't comment Cooper's invisibility technique. Carmelita then shows up while Sly gets out of there, arrests Miss Ruby for summoning the dead. That is illegal. And is sentenced for life, by the way. First up is the Panda King of China. Born penniless, he was fascinated with the fireworks spectacles the royals would put on. After a decade of practice, he strived to show his passion of the art. Sadly, they weren't impressed and shunned him out. Being upset and angry, he used his fireworks to do crime. The Phoenix Five recruited him as a demolition expert. As Sly makes his way to Panda King's hideout, a firework buries a village. Seeing the event, Sly identifies where the Panda King is holed up in. He reaches the hideout and makes his way to the Panda King. Out of all the members so far, the encounter with Panda King is a heated one. Sly gets a bit heated as the fight soon ensues. With Sly the victor, the Panda King just knocks out. Bentley mentions to Sly that the last member is in Russia. Sly then recovers Panda King's section that covers Otto von Cooper, not one for his physical capabilities, but relied on vehicles for his jobs. The van got equipped with a turret and battering ram. Carmelita arriving to arrest the Panda King. The villages in China were safe from being toppled with snow in the mountains. The fifth and last stop is Russia, where the last member is. On the way, Sly reads up on any info, but finds a shadow figure in the photos of the Cooper members that he's recovered thus far. Very suspicious. Upon arriving to Russia, Sly and his crew go through a gauntlet to make it to the end. Using the new turret to get in, battering ram to continue on, getting past security, meanwhile aiming to free Inspector Fox. Upon reaching Carmelita, Sly gets gassed. Bentley springs to action to make sure Sly's brain doesn't turn into cheese. After saving Sly, he gets Carmelita free. Carmelita, surprised Sly would free her, and Sly mentions someone of great threat is current present. A truce is made, but a falcon steals Sly's cane and Carmelita shoots it. Carmelita mentions a jetpack he can use as he makes his way up. Then she covers Sly as he recovers his cane. The previous area from destroying the conduits, pipes, and stuff, the lava starts to rise. Sly makes his way up the death ray to not die and get to the jetpack. As Sly is in the air, the fifth member shows themselves. It turns out that Clockwork, someone that has had a grudge against Sly's family line for hundreds of years, achieved immortality, turning into a machine with hate and jealousy. He apparently has been killing Sly's family over time. He only killed Sly's father and stole the Thievius Raccoonus to prove without that, the Coopers are nothing without it. Sly then remarks it takes great thieves to make the Thievius Raccoonus. I mean, both are correct and wrong at the same time. It's a 50-50. Just like my gotcha polls. Anyways, Sly and Clockwork engage in a duel to the death. Thanks to the help of Carmelita, Sly's rockets affect Clockwork for whatever reason. After 2 engages, Clockwork goes down and Sly goes to finish the job. With that done, Sly and his crew are the victors. Sly thinks over the whole journey after defeating each member of the Phoenix Five, with the help of his crew Bentley and Murray. Alright, well that covered the story of Sly 1. It's pretty bare bones and straight to the point. I could have just said Sly went to get the pages, beat up the members, and restore the family book while learning techniques of the family. I wanted to flesh it out a bit. Just a bit. So to the gameplay of the game, I'd say it's a mixture of Crash and Spyro with a mix of what Sly Cooper is trying to establish. It's a 3D platformer with linear design while giving it that 3D open area aspect of not having it restricted. You know, like invisible walls and all that stuff. It's a 2002 game, so it's a bit archaic and can be pretty jank. I mean, a speedrun, for example, for any percent for this game has been done in 31 minutes and 58 seconds, as of the time I wrote this script, of course. You have your standard joystick movement with square for your attack button for the cane, and you have your jump button, and you have a double jump, so there's that. You have your like basic platformer just kind of like moves there. So Sly 1 has the interactive button with circle, and most of the time it's Sly has to jump and press the circle button or come into like a crease and hold circle so you can like tiptoe across some way. And that's like the interactive thing, and it's gonna be a thing throughout the series, of course. As you go on with the game and acquire different moves from your ancestors, you can do the jumping point, the spiral jumps and the rail slides, rail rocks, whatnot, with the same jump and hit the circle button. Well, it's established in the beginning, whatnot. This is an old game because Slide 1 follows the one hit rule, and you need to collect horseshoes to take more hits. And you can collect 2 horseshoes, silver and gold, and you could also acquire it by collecting 100 coins. And when you have a gold horseshoe, when you collect 100 coins, you just get an extra life. So Slide 1 has a prologue and 5 episodes. Police HQ for the intro. Tide of Terror, that has a fancy machinery design. Sunset Snake Eyes, that is a casino town in the desert. Vicious Voodoo, that is the swamp world with paranormal enemies and creatures. Fire in the Sky, that is the China level with fireworks. The Cold Heart of Hate is the volcano world. Besides the prologue, each world has levels throughout. Most are platform levels, and there are some minigame type levels. In each hideout, besides the last one, are keys that you need to acquire. You use these keys to get into each hideout, then to advance from the first area to the second area, and to a total of 7 keys to get to the boss of the episode. As you go through each level, except the minigame ones, there will be a certain amount of bottles for a safe in the levels. It can range from 20 to 40 bottles at times. Get all the bottles, and Bentley will give you the code to open the safe in the level and acquire its contents. You can get things like the dive, the roll, explosive hats, and much more. I will mention there are Master Thief trials where you just finish the level in the time allotted to you. To reach 100%, you need to do these, where you will get special moves like behind the scenes and even commercials that aired for the game. The enemies range from a flashlight guard that will home their attack at you, some that throw stuff at you, and various physical attacks. They do go down with one hit, besides an enemy in episode 3. Besides the mooks, you are dealing with the bosses themselves. It ranges from evade with platforms, to a special gimmick, to VDR, to whack-a-mole, to blasting and platforming. All generally easy to do, but results may vary for each person playing. The music is very good in this game. Each world music suits each one. Along with battle music. And additional music for the mini game type levels as well. Voice acting is done great by all the voice actors. Kevin Miller as Sly.
That blimp looks like the most secured location on this boat. If Raleigh's really as smart as his police files suggest, then that's where I'll find him.
Matt Olson as Bentley.
I've calculated the trajectory of these rockets, and I'm 99% sure you'll be able to ride them all the way to the top of that statue before they explode.
What about that other 1%?
Well, in that case, Sly, you will be blown to bits. But the experience will no doubt be spectacular.
Roxana Ortega as Carmelita.
Well, 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 look who just walked into my crosshairs. Sly Cooper.
Kevin Blackton as Mugshot.
Your father? Wow! You're a Cooper? You know, that Thingus Rackamagookus had a lot of nice pictures, but way too many big words.
So you don't mind just handing it over?
What, are you kidding? You break into my place, steal my stuff, trash the joint. I feel transgressed and violated. Let's rock!
Just to name a few. That's about it for the game, really. If you're good at the game, it can take you roughly 4 to 5 hours for all the saves. Maybe more if you go for the trials. So generally, Sly 1, it's pretty easy. It is very jank, it is archaic, and it's, you know, like pretty dated. The graphics are alright for the time, but Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter seem a little rough themselves, but it looks a bit better compared to Sly 1. So in terms of like looks, of course, it's gonna be like a little rough, especially the HD version. Ugh, you can see the lines. But I generally like Sly 1. It's one of my favorites of the series. You know, I always like going back to it. You know, I always like to do those like every year. Gotta play you know, all the games. Like I always play like the trilogy of Sly Cooper. Not really the fourth one, but more or less. Yeah, no, but like I'd say Sly 1 is just generally fine, honestly. Well, that's about it for me. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll do more. No, this is like more experimental video for me, but more or less. With that being said, I'm Chief. Peace.